Billy
Joe, you hear us?
calzone. I put it in the microwave today for lunch. I texted her some pictures, said, not bad.
I thought she was gonna leave him a note.
Yeah.
Have fun, party girl.
I said, maybe we leave out the case. So big plans of being there. By myself. Some months I started.
A case
The
Joe, can you hear us?
Have all these that are.
Yep, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There it is. Well, that's how you get to know the neighbor.
I know.
We go to one house one night. That's it's down the line. Down the line. Man, what's up, dude? They're looking at board meetings with his hand. Yeah. What are you gonna eat? Start serving meal. Also.
Wasn't very putting up sriracha, wasn't too bad.
Until later when that sriracha kicks in.
I know, well, it's gonna happen, yeah, so.
Later,
Didn't mean it'll be short. Like last week.
So Anthony, we're all gonna be watching your facial expressions and saying,
If you see me bail.
yeah, it's right. Anybody want to come over and sit here and feel free.
Wow, you know,
Well, I'm glad I made this decision to stay here rather than be on that side of the room tonight.
Yeah.
tough room tonight.
It's a tough one.
Tunnels?
What was that?
No, let him out.
Yeah,
No, I got,
got in the parking lot.
It looks like a dungeon.
oh, I'm in my family room. Boy, that's here. I can open the curtains if that's, and go back a little bit here. How's that? Is that
You need
a
light.
more friendly look?
Yeah, there you go.
Which way are we going?
Right around.
He got his toys out with him.
Actually, Linda's toys, actually.
Oh,
She got, this is, actually saw this on Adam Savage from Mythbusters has a YouTube channel, but he recommended this. Linda uses that, if you can see this, uses it for quilting now. It's like the things that doctors or dentists use. It has like 10 lenses you can put in there for close-up viewing. It's got a little light on the front.
Oh, wow.
mechanics are using those.
It's
now.
very, yeah, it's for close-up stuff
Yeah.
for us old people, you know. It's like it
Old people, I don't
It's
know.
like-
anything
it's like-
about that.
Yeah.
The chief
Yeah.
might want one of those.
oh, it's like
You just walk in.
it's like cheaters on steroids.
You get to tell you.
Joe just said anybody walking into the room is over.
Again, I didn't hear that.
I think Joe's turning it. Something.
Can't argue with him.
Gene walked in after me though. Just want to point that out.
We're not recording, are we, John?
Yeah, actually, we are.
Actually,
good.
not.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll clean all that.
Yeah, right, so look at him. Mrs. Detmer, are you muted?
I'm here.
Okay.
There she is.
Good. We did find out that we could hear from Joe, not that we really want to.
Oh,
Oh, here we go. Be one of those meetings, I guess.
Pause that.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, 2.5 years, and I finally found the perfect place to Zoom. And
What, Alaska wasn't good enough for you?
no, I'm just this is actually I got my chair. You're actually on the big screen up there. I got a nice holder for my phone I'm using. I got my my other device so I can look at the notes in my lap. This is
Let's go to your house.
Yeah.
yeah, come on over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 spots.
You'll hardly know we're there, except we're very noisy and we eat a great deal.
Okay, I've got 129 in county. Everybody's watching the clock. Oh.
Mine's still wrong. Mine says 7:36. I don't know what. I fixed it.
7:29,
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It took me all night.
But the clerk's clock is the official,
okay, what's the clerk's clock?
7:30, right?
All in order, pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Marino,
Here.
Mr. Dattley,
Here.
Mr. Harney,
Here.
Mr. Thorne,
Here,
Mr. Nimitz.
Here,
Okay, we have got 5 out of the 6 trustees present. One of the trustees is attending remotely, therefore, all motions and request for votes tonight will be roll call. Governor Pritzker did extend the gubernatorial proclamation until February 8th or 9th, something like that. So that's coming back up again. We'll see if he renews it again next month. In the meantime, we are allowed to continue with the remote access. Continuing remotely this evening is trustee Nemick and our village code official, Mrs. Detmer. With that said, we move on to the minutes of January 3rd, 2023.
Move to approve the regular board meeting minutes, January 3rd, 2023.
second.
Moved by Harney, seconded by Thorne to approve the minutes of January 3rd, 2003. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? I have one. I'm surprised nobody else has found it.
Good.
Yes.
I was just wondering who was going to mention it.
You were? That's what I was kind of, I was like, okay.
I'm trying to figure out what I said, didn't maybe the benefit of calling you earlier, so we didn't
Oh,
correct it.
this was, yeah. You can't boilerplate this part.
Okay,
I have no idea what it's going to say.
Okay, you don't know what it is? Oh, all right. Under the adjournment, this meeting did not adjourn at 7:21 PM. Maybe 8:21.
Oh, wow.
wishful thinking.
It adjourned before it started.
With that correction, let's proceed.
It's kind of Einsteinian, isn't it? I mean,
Roll call, please.
Oh, Mr. Bruno,
Abstain.
Mr. Nimitz,
aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Hi,
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley.
Aye. 4 affirmative votes, no negative votes, 1 abstention. The motion so passes. The minutes are approved. Thank you, one and all. Next item is the president's report. We've gone over the gubernatorial announcement. The next little item I've got pretty much is an FYI. You will notice in your documents, the packet, there was an LGDF display, local government distributed funds. That's just a little bit of the news that the village of Sleepy Hollow is putting together on our behalf of the local municipalities to present to Springfield. A little history on local government distributed funds is that it came about sometime in the late 60s, early 70s, when some of the municipalities were looking at enforcing or implementing an income tax of their own. So you'd have a city tax on your income as well as a state tax. And the state made the agreement with the municipalities that if we wouldn't go individually imposing income taxes, they would share a portion of what the state collected with the municipalities. Rumor has it that amount was set at 10% in 1960 or 70. The thing is, it was never memorialized. And as time went on and Springfield needed money, the low hanging fruit was that 10% that they had promised the municipalities. And so they started taking. Well, in 2011, they took some more, but they promised that time they would return it. They hadn't done that before. Well, they hadn't returned it. And they've gone ahead and they've increased their income an enormous amount while they kept the restrictions on the distributed funds to the municipalities. Eugene went through our numbers the past month and estimated that we have had a loss of about $2 million, almost 1 year's budget of the tax funds that were supposed to be returned to the municipality. So that's what this bid is all about. These are conversations that I have, almost every time I talk to a state representative or a state senator, is the local distributed funds. Keep them up. Let's restore this back to the 10% and memorialize it so we don't have to go through this again and again and again. So that's what that little bit of information is.
The state's argument was that we're being made whole because of video gaming and cannabis use,
Right.
which is not true.
Now, if you look at the cannabis tax, it's going down. And you look at the gaming tax, it's going down. So,
Even if you include that, we're still $1,990,000 short.
we could have done a lot more with that $1 million. But anyway, if anybody asks about LGDF, what the villages are doing, this is what we're up against, and that's what we're trying to restore.
And the other villages are also had
This is-
subjected this.
This is a whole day. If you look at the bottom of that, Anthony, you'll see we've got Metro West, which is 34 communities here in Kane and Kendall County. We've got the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, that's 270 municipalities. So, yeah.
And when they initially did this, was there ever years back in, the 70s that the municipalities did get any other 10%?
Oh, yeah, they got the 10%.
And then at some
Somewhere-
point,
Yeah, it was somewhere around the turn of the century that the government started picking a little bit, dropping it a little bit and not bringing it back up to 10%. This had the biggest problem that we found is that it was not memorialized in the first place. And so now that's the push we're trying to get in there now. Let's put it down, let's memorialize it, let's don't have any more of this back and forth. You hold it back, we don't get it, we get into trouble, Not that we got into trouble with it, but yeah, it did make life difficult for these last 11 years.
So is the state amenable to restoring them? I mean, what can we do, really?
Anytime you talk to the representative or the senator, push on them to maintain and to bring back the LGDF to the proper levels of funding that it did once had. That's the main thing. Anytime you run into one of those people, if you're at Portillo's and they're next to you, you got a topic to talk about.
You can eat those fries.
At this point, they're willing to do an amount less than 10%. But so what we're figuring is that, well, if we can get them to commit to that amount, then we can just keep pushing towards getting the full 10%.
We'd like them to say you get 7.5 or you get 8%. Say something. Don't just let us go in there every year on a budget and try to fight for this thing and keep it up there. So,
did the state ever apply any restriction on where that money could be spent?
no, that comes in that's 30% of our operating funds. So yeah, it's almost a third of what we need.
Like the COVID money was only for certain,
COVID is
things,
restricted,
right.
right?
but this would not.
This is not. This is general fund. No questions asked, we just get it and you spend it as we see fit. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where Mr. Pritzker's, waiting to get on the plane in front of you. Okay, the next item is a little bit of house cleaning more. The agreement with ICCI has been revised to reflect where we are currently. Eugene brought it to my attention sometime after he got here a year and a half ago that these things had not been memorialized. They had been approved and we were moving forward, but that he would like that us to put this down in black and white and get it approved by the board so that when we do the next audit, we can inform the audit team that we are in fact cooperate or
In complaints.
in compliant with the agreement with ICCI on the payroll, so, or on the reimbursements. Not even reimbursements, sorry. Expenses to us. Your charges to us. So if I could, I'd like a motion to approve the agreement with ICCI as presented.
So moved, Nemec.
Second, Frame,
Gotta be quick, Anthony.
trying to formulate my words.
You've been sitting in southern Arizona sun too long.
At the end of the table.
Okay, moved by Nemec, seconded by Moreno to approve the agreement with the building inspecting services between the Village of Sleepy Hollow and International Code Consultants and Inspectors, Inc., hereby known as ICCI. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
I just wanted to say that I know ICCI and Barb Dever have done a wonderful job. It's a stressful time at times. But I don't know of any other organization that would want to be the building inspector in a small village such as ours, nor one who knows as much about a small village such as ours. So appreciate what they do.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
No
You're
further
welcome.
comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Parado.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so passes. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mrs. Detman. One last notice of the note from ICOPS. Mr. Schuster has replied. We are waiting to response from ICOPS for contract negotiations with our unions. Okay, that's it for the president's report, clerk's report.
I have no report tonight.
Thank you, Amy. Planning and zoning.
The I'm actually unmuted, believe it or not. The Planning and Zoning Commission is going to be holding its public hearing for the 1601 West Main Street next Monday at 6:30, or shortly thereafter with the normal routine meeting items. And they're also continuing their work on revising the current zoning code and sign code. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Detmer. Attorney's report. There's nothing from Mr. Schuster at the moment. Engineer's report is in your packet. If you've got any comments or suggestions or recommendations for the street program for 2023, notify Kyle or Jeff prior to next meeting of the 6th of February. They hope to have a list for us to consider at that point for road projects next year. Other than that, any questions for the engineer or the attorney at that point? Not? Director of Finance, Mr. Hoonan.
We got our renewals for our flood insurance. The total amount is for the year $9,938. It is a 1% increase from last year, so I thought that was pretty good. So I need a motion to approve so we can pay that bill.
So moved.
Second, Diatley.
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Diatley to approve the payment of the flood insurance bill. $9,000.
$938.
All right, I get my glasses. $9,938. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Eugene, one question I've got is I see option A and option B.
It's for increased coverage of the contents. They're not giving us that much more contents coverage for the boss, so it's
So we're going with option A.
option, yeah.
Okay, any other further comments or questions? Discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Farino,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so passes. Thank you all.
Request a motion for the warrants in the amount of $137,400.74.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Harney to approve the warrants of January 17, 2023 in the amount of $137,400.74. Any additions, deletions, comments, or questions? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Farino.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so passes. Thank you all.
And as the last item of that I have is I just wanted to make note that ICCI donated 22 hours of time in rewriting and revising Title VII, Chapters 1 and 4. And so the value of that time was $2,200. So I wrote her a letter acknowledging that donation of time.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Devon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Eugene. Comments from the public. Comments from the public this evening. Okay. Trustee reports, roads and parks, Mr. Huckman.
At the last board meeting, I reported that Eugene had found a bidding website called Government Deals, where we might list the Sabatino's playground equipment, keeping in mind the main objective was to keep Public Works from having to dismantle and remove the equipment. This was done. The equipment was put up for bid. Within a few days of putting it up for bid, we received 5 bids. Starting price was $1,
Wow.
and after 5 bids, was up to $7. Since then, we've had 15 more bids. And we made it clear in the listing that the high bidder was responsible for the disassembly and removal of the equipment. So since then, we've had 15 bids, and the bid closes in 2 days, 2 hours from now. Thanks for the question.
What's
Oh, what's the high bid?
Don't play hard to get.
$3,525.
Wow, nice.
That's a jump from a buck.
There's a little bit of a bidding war between two of the bidders. They were both early bidders, and then they just started jumping. You know, so what's gonna happen is that they have a feature that automatically extends the time.
Yeah.
If there is a bid that comes in within the last 3 minutes, it automatically extends it for another 3 minutes. And the idea behind it is that if people have slow computer lines or whatever, it gives them that opportunity to get in. So that extension will happen until there is no other bidding for that last 3 minutes.
Okay.
So the price can go up higher. It's already making $3,524 more than I expected. But
My question though is if follow through.
they
Is
have to
there any requirement that they follow through to be part of this bidding process, or is this one where I'm gonna throw out that guitar signed by John Lennon and Paul McCartney?
what happens is that they have to pay gov deals.
Okay,
And if they don't pay gov deals, then they're gonna be blocked from ever bidding again.
okay.
Ooh,
So even if they don't complete by removing the stuff, we're still gonna get our money.
So hats off to
And
you,
is there-
Gene. So.
yay.
Is there a time frame that is in the bid that they have to remove the stuff once?
I could have, but because this is January and the ground gets frozen. I'm gonna leave it up to them coordinating with Kyle for when is the best time. We've had two questions. One was, is it in concrete? And yes, it is. And then they asked if they could cut it off at ground level. And I said, yes, they could, because I guess that's standard practice.
Okay.
Cool. So, again, I'm, leaving it up to Kyle on how, he would want to work it out to have it removed in over what time period.
The new equipment is due in the very end of April, so.
So we do have some time where we can.
Now, if it's in concrete, they're gonna just cut it to ground, are they gonna?
They-
pull the
they may-
concrete pot out
That's
or
an
not?
option.
Yeah, I don't, it depends on what they want to do.
Okay.
So, but we've given them the option of what they would prefer.
So
So,
we may end up having to take a few concrete pilings out.
right. I figure, with the backhoe, they can just
Yeah,
scoop one out and.
Hal says he's got the equipment fees.
That's a job for the back.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's how I had to report.
all right, that's some good news, thank you, Ed. Next, finance, I don't have anything to report. Eugene took it all from me, so. Water and sewer, Mr. Nimitz.
No, I'll save it for old business.
All right, thank you, Joe. Public and police safety, backwards. Mr. Tiapri.
You all have chief's report in there, just, it's nice to see, our officers being recognized, for the work they do, even by the city of Carpentersville for acknowledging their help, in the situation we had there. The ongoing training of Officer Norden, and then our own Chief Barba being sworn in as the second vice president of the Northern Division of the FBI National Academy Association. Congrats. So it's great. It does my heart good to know that as a small department, we are very involved in the community and not just our community, but the surrounding community of other things. And I think that we should be very proud of that, and the people of Clinton College should be very proud of that. Thank you, Chief.
Good picture, buddy.
What's a little background on that?
Pick my best side.
What's the little background on that position you were appointed to?
So I will move through the ranks. This year I'm second, I was sworn in second vice president. Next year I'll be first vice president, and then eventually I'll be the president of the association.
And what's the association do?
We are in charge basically of coordinating with the FBI to the people who get sent to the National Academy. We do the National Youth Leadership Program. We evaluate all the applications. We read the essays, nominate the winners for that as well. We also hold training every month. We hold training sessions for FBI National Academy graduates. We're the most active and the largest chapter in the United States by far. Once a year, we do our training conference in Galena. We bring in trainers from all over the country to train. So it's a great organization, and like I've said before, the networking opportunities anywhere in the country. If I need something, I can reach out and find a National Academy graduate and get information that's germane to what we're doing here.
Wow.
And some of the other people in the photo, are they also, are they all in law enforcement?
They are. I can kind of go through the list. The first person in there is Chief Ryan Goss. He's like the chief of Norwich Police Department. Carmen Jercone is the first deputy of the Cook County Clerk's Office, and then myself. Dave Harris is the commander of District 1 of Chicago Police Department. And then actually the next gentleman is the deputy chief in Burr Ridge. The next one after that is Jimmy Lee. He's the chief of police in Fox Lake. And then our newest member is from the Addison Police Department, he's deputy chief in the Addison Police Department.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Appreciate the update on that, Chief. Keep up the good work, and representation of the mythical village of Sleepy Hollow. It's only up there with the white owl of all. No, the squirrel, white squirrel all. Okay, anything else, Steve? That's it?
That's it.
All right, thanks, sir. Building and environment, Mr. Thorne.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Tom, Mark. Building and zoning. Mr. Perino.
No report, sir.
Thank you, Anthony.
Well,
That brings us to Resolution 550, which we postponed back on December 19th, 2020. It had been adopted and signed by West Dundee on January 9th. I now present it to the board to bring it back to the floor for discussion and vote this evening. If I could have a motion so approved.
I go to move resolution 550, resolution for intergovernmental agreement with the Village of West Dundee for wastewater services, which Mr. Pickett and Mr. Schuster have been working to tie up all the loose ends that go back to since the construction of the apartments in 1970. What, Steve? 50 years. This resolution is 50 years in the making. And I think that took 2 years, but I think that all the loose ends are finally done. So.
Yes, I think so. Joe, you want to join with us in the morning to disconnect the power service to the flumes?
I kind of would actually.
We might do it right after passing this resolution.
Let's give Kyle a call.
You still need a second?
Yeah.
Still need a second.
Okay. Moved by Nimick, seconded by Arnie to approve resolution 550, a resolution approving the IGA with the Village of West Dundee for wastewater sewer services. Okay, are there any further comments, questions, or discussion on this? We went through it in December. We're awaiting West Dundee's action. They have moved forward. They've approved it. So without any further ado, roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno,
aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Dudley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
All right.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. The motion so passes. Now,
That was a long time coming.
a long time bringing that one to the finish line. All right, thank you, one and all. Okay, any other old business come before the board? Being no old business come before the board, new business. No new business
I would make a motion to adjourn, sir.
Second, Diatley.
moved by Nemick, seconded by Diatley. Roll call, please.
Let the record reflect it is 7:57. Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Dudley,
Aye.
Mr. Pareno.
Aye.
We are adjourned. We will see you all on the 6th of February.
What happened to you anyway? Just move on.
Not you.
No,
I thought you weren't going to the 16th.
No. I don't know, it's the fifth, I think, or whatever, no,